Oh.
Do you remember how we met?
I remember how we met because I've probably been on about 15 podcasts or so being interviewed for podcasts. And the question always
Hmm.
comes up like, how did I get into CrossFit? And you have always been a big part of that. And so I've told that story many times. Do you want me to recollect my perspective of that story?
Yeah. Please.
So I was living in Oakland, well, Berkeley. I was living right on the border of Oakland and Berkeley off of Shattuck. And to go work out, I didn't belong to any kind of CrossFit gym, but I had been getting into CrossFit and I really enjoyed it. I loved doing it. And the closest gym that was like a good deal was the Berkeley Rec Center, the Berkeley RSF. And so I would go up there and I would be doing my own little CrossFit thing by myself, still trying to figure it out, and still understanding like what the whole programming meant. And like, for example, like there was a workout that involved the rower. But I don't know if you remember the setup for the RSF. Like the rower was, you had to go upstairs, and it was on like this little
Yeah.
platform area, and so the workout was like maybe thrusters and the rower. So you go upstairs and you do your 500 meters, then you trot down the stairs into the weight room, and then you go to your bar and for the thruster, and then you do your thrusters, and then you go back up the stairs up to your rower, and then and it was just like you're just like, well, I ticked that box of doing that exercise, and it's just you do what you could back then. Anyway, I would go there and I'd be doing my own thing, and I saw this couple doing butterfly pull-ups over in the corner on one of the power racks. It was like a really super tall squats, like squat power rig, and it was even tall
Those
enough
were
for me.
great, right? You
Yeah,
could do overhead squats inside the rack. That was awesome.
it was really good because also me, I'm like 6'7", six. I think I've shrunk an inch. I'm 6'6" now, but I could do like full kipping pull-ups in that rig as well. So it was like super nice. And I saw, this couple, and they're doing butterfly pull-ups. And back in like 2009, you didn't really see that much stuff in like a Globo type gym. And I went over and introduced myself, and I was like, "Hey, you guys are into CrossFit?" And sure enough, you were. And it was you and Haley, and we started talking, and then you're like, "Yeah, if you ever want to work out anytime, I'll give you my email, and just email me." And it was Sevan at CrossFit.com, and I was like, "Okay, I think I know who this is." And then we just started working out from then on. And it was pretty fun.
And then our workouts ended because you left the state, right? Is that how we finally
I
stopped
no, I
working out
moved.
together?
Yeah, I moved back to Bloomington. I was just in California for a year, and then just opportunities came, and ended up moving back to Bloomington, Indiana. But you and I, like, we had a good time together, and also, like shooting videos. Tall Carl does double unders. Did
Yeah, yeah,
a couple workouts like in the bay and in the
yeah.
backyard, and I will never. You don't understand. You probably do understand. Like, it was such a. It was a really in what I want to say. It was a big impact on my life to like have a video on the .com page, and that really meant a lot to me. And so yeah, it's been a big. Our relationship has really been a big part of my journey, especially in CrossFit.
We just so people know, we really, really got after it. Like we did
Yeah,
not. We weren't just like, hey, go there, warm up, and do Fran. We were like, I remember, man, fuck, we would get at it. We would warm up for like 40 minutes on the stairs and
yeah,
practice our double unders, and then we would go in and get it. And we would use just everything that we could in the Bay Area. I remember going to the track with you. Like if there was
yeah,
a 400-meter run, we would load up the back of my truck with weights. We
yeah,
would go to the track.
yeah,
I'll never forget. There was this. I don't remember the workout, but it has 800-meter runs and like 250-pound deadlifts, and then GHD sit-ups. I
yeah,
think it's like one of the girl wads. But I didn't want to do it that day for some reason, And so I just did the sprint. I just sat there and rested while Karl did the deadlifts and the GHDs. And then I would run the track with him and yell at him that he's going slow. Hurry up.
Yeah.
So I would be fully rested and then sprint the track with you and be taunting you.
It was that dirt track too. And I a long time ago, or maybe like a couple years ago or so, I looked it up because I was wondering about the name of that track that we used to go to. And I think that they've refinished it since then, because back in the day when it was you and even Haley, like we would do the pull-ups on that rig that was out there.
Yeah.
But it was all dirt.
Yep.
Yeah.
And it's a trip, just so people know. I'm 5'5" and Karl's 6'7", and yeah, we worked out a shit ton together. It's weird. It's almost like it almost doesn't seem real to me that I could just meet someone in the gym there.
Yeah.
And then CrossFit would bring us together. I wonder I gave you my email and not my phone number. What a douche.
No, I think I also
was I showing off, or was I like, nah, this guy can't get my digits?
No, you also gave me your phone number because I remember we texted back and forth a lot to like coordinate workout times and stuff like that. But it was you and I, we would come up with ideas for videos and especially like I had never done double unders before, and I was just kind of working on them, and you're like, man, you know what? Like the gold standard that they say, that CrossFit says, is that if you can do 2 minutes of double unders, then that's a good standard for that. And I was like, okay, I'll work on it over the next week. I'll work on it for the next week, and sure enough, I got it, and then you did that video of me.
We filmed that in the gym at UC Berkeley, right?
Yeah, it was.
Like at the bottom of the stairs there.
Yep, right by the basketball courts. And I think that in the song that you said it to was like some kind of like, I'd never heard the song before. It was like some kind of like Gandhi type of "Be the change you wish to be."
Yeah.
It was cool, man. It was all awesome. I loved it. It was so crazy to just during that time was just like a fun time, man.
.com was exploding back then. People were watching the videos on .com back then. It was kind of like before YouTube got huge, and yeah, that was awesome. That was crazy that you did 2 minutes of double unders. I remember we would get so excited, and yeah, those were good times. Do you remember us also? We would get talked to by we weren't allowed to do deadlifts in the gym. I mean, it's this big, massive gym, massive.
Oh yeah.
And no one did deadlifts back then, but we would drag our deadlift bar into the room where all the machines were.
Yes.
Because there was a pull-up bar there.
Yes.
And the director of the UC Berkeley Fitness Center came over and told us we couldn't do deadlifts because we were damaging the floor, even though there were those huge rubber tiles. And
okay, so check this out. This also kind of I remember this part where there were no bumper plates, and you and I were working on our overhead squats, and we were in one of those squat cages doing overhead squats, and you had to bail or I had to bail, and you're like, dude, just drop it, and we dropped it, and it like, so the bar goes straight to the pins and just like clangs, and everyone's looking at us, and we're like, yeah, we're doing overhead squats. What? Like, because no one else was doing overhead squats back then. And at the same time, too, like, overhead squats with, like, a decent amount of weight, that was, like, a new movement for us, too. Like, we're just trying to figure it out. And, man, it's just, like, the beginning of so much stuff that's really a big part of my life now.
There were. It's funny. There were two workouts I did in there. There was that workout where you have to do 100 overhead squats with 95 pounds. And then there was another time I was doing a workout, and it was 175-pound overhead squats, and I really wanted to get all 10. And I think on the 10th rep, I know, right, Brian? I used to be a little bit stronger. And on the 10th rep, I think I dropped it from the top, and I didn't even have the pins in. And yeah, you're right. It was just metal weights. And it was fucking crazy.
It was so
Those
fun.
were some epic times.
Oh, my gosh.